I look choppy with my my video?
No, you're good now. You're good.
I don't know. It looks laggy on my side.
Keep doing the things with your hands, dude. It's hilarious.
Put this on the blooper for
Yes, it is. Yeah, the intro.
Welcome to the lower mid card.
Welcome to the lower mid card, where legends rise. Grind and Kyle Driver, the ring's wise guys. Talking smack, breaking backs, no holds barred. On the lower mid card, the action's avant-garde.
What's going on, everyone? This is the Lower Mid Card Podcast. I'm Kyle Driver.
And I'm Grind. And yesterday, we got bloody. Literally.
Was it bad?
We didn't get bloody, but people got bloody. It wasn't bad. It was actually great, in my opinion. I mean, Did you think it was bad?
No. But
No.
it's called Bad Blood. That's
It
what
is.
I was getting
And
at.
I think it's all about context, man. I mean,
More like Rad Blood.
Very true. That would actually be a very savage 80s name for a pay-per-view that didn't exist. Anyway,
Band in general. Sorry, going off the rails here.
it's okay, man. From my understanding, there's only been like 4 of these Bad Blood PLEs.
Last one was like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah. And they've all had like steel cage matches and there's been blood and things. And there was blood, which was cool. I mean, we are totally out of the PG era, which is wonderful.
Oh, for sure.
We are in the Netflix era, which is coming soon, very, very soon. We're talking a matter of less than 4 months, and until we get Netflix, which begs the question: how much more blood are we going to get? Because I feel like it's being used almost like a perfect amount. And the difference is, and we're going to get into, the first match we're going to get into talks all about blood. But I want to, before we get into that, I want you to think of the last steel cage match that you saw where there was blood. And I know which one it was for me. I think, and maybe you're on the same page here. Was that WrestleMania? You thinking the same thing? No, what do you think? Okay. WrestleMania between Edge and Finn Balor, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so for some weird reason, Finn gets hit with like a ladder and he gets cut so bad that they literally pan the camera to Edge, and Edge he goes around looking for like steel chairs and whatnot. But while they're doing that, they are attending to Finn, and because there's so much blood, they're attending to him, and they end up not sewing him up right there, but they end up doing some sort of Vaseline treatment or something to literally stop the bleeding, which is so weird because we're at an era now where we can talk. This is the perfect segue into Bad Blood. The first match, man, is between CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell. And there's been so much buildup. I mean, we're talking about, going back further than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And we're talking about blood and it being full of bad blood. I'm explaining this great, dude. I'm all over the fucking place. Anyway, point is that
it's a whole journey.
It is, dude. It's been crazy.
We're just on a journey together,
I am spitballing right now, but the thoughts are they're just going, and this is how we start Bad Blood. We started off with one of the most anticipated matches of the year.
Yes.
This definitely puts an end to that feud. I'd be shocked if they continue after this. But what was very interesting was the difference between Edge and Finn Balor at WrestleMania, where you had Brood Edge versus the Demon, right? And this being CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell, literally a year and a half later, and it's all the blood you can think of. Not only is it all the blood you can think of, Drew McIntyre got cut open bad. I mean, like bad, like worse than
rough.
Yeah, and you know what was the same night was UFC. and the guy in the main event, Khalil Roundtree, he got cut bad, but Drew McIntyre got it 6 times worse, man. I mean, that cut in his scalp is like 4 or 5 inches long, an inch and a half thick, and it is just brutal. That was not fake. That was not razor blades. That is what we kind of enjoy about wrestling. I mean, that is the downside, but that is also the upside of when we get blood, we got blood, dude. And
we did.
It couldn't have worked itself out any better, in my opinion.
Sure.
You know what I'm really starting to recognize, Kyle?
What? What's that? Tell me.
CM Punk is probably one of my favorite Extreme Rules match current day wrestlers.
Okay.
Which is a very weird thing to say. But if you look at his time in AEW and whatnot, he was more on the extreme side of things. And it's almost a flair, like a nice little taste of a different kind of, seasoning than what we've been getting from the WWE. We'll get a little bit of blood here and there, but this was like, this could have ended.
They pushed the envelope. When it came to, like you said, it was the perfect amount, and they gave us a large portion.
Yes,
and you didn't feel without.
No,
after it was all done.
And in this day and age, man, I mean, they show like the top 5, Hell in a Cell matches, and I'm looking at some of them like this shouldn't be in the top 5. Right. And then Mankind and Undertaker are number 1, always, and it will forever be that way until somebody literally changes the game. But it's funny because instead of doing the normal jumping off the cage spots and that kind of stuff, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre literally held their own and made a memorable match, in my opinion. It was
good.
It wasn't your typical, we got to go to the top of the cage and we got to go out, it didn't have that feel to it, in my opinion.
No, it was really good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Like, the pacing of it all, it was really, it was, I don't know, I just thought it was a well put together match.
Since we didn't get to talk about it, going into this match, who did you have winning, and did you have any strange theories of anything happening?
The only thing that I thought that would happen happened at the end.
Yeah.
So as far as my predictions, I knew, let's see, I went 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 I got wrong, and then I got 5 right. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I only got 1 wrong, but I mean, it was just a very predictable card in my opinion. And then the end, I had an idea on that was
what was going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't. There's a lot of speculation, and I think it's going to be this way as long as CM Punk has his run about AJ Lee returning. I saw a lot of that. I saw that Larry was with him during this time, so it seems like obviously AJ is somewhere to be found.
Sure.
But I don't have any interest in that. We talked multiple times about AJ and our feelings towards that, and it's cool to see. It's cool to see CM Punk just do his thing. What's cool is I finally feel like we got some resolution there, and this has been going on since last year at Royal Rumble.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so but it didn't feel very drawn out.
Oh no, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The segments maybe on Raw got a little drawn out, but it's the inevitable. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And I would give it, honestly, for a Hell in a Cell match, I'd give it probably a 5 out of 5, just because I don't know where Hell in a Cell is one of those things, and I was thinking this, I'm like, man, they got to start thinking outside the box with this, because everything's kind of been done, You know,
Yeah.
I get it's a, it's Hell in a Cell, but then it's like you get the Elimination Chamber, and it's the Elimination Chamber initially was supposed to be the more hellish kind of
Yeah,
figure, and
for sure.
now that isn't even what it is. So I don't know, man. Hey, it wasn't red, was it? It was the cage was silver, right? I'm having a hard time
Yeah, it
remembering.
was silver.
Thank God. I remember thinking to myself, like, thank God it's not red.
Yeah.
And I just totally spaced. I was like, what if it was red? And I didn't notice. But
No, it wasn't red.
they went through a phase during the PG era where it was red. And I was just like, dude, this is so stupid. Like, nobody gets in a steel cage, of fencing that's red. Where do you get that?
Yeah.
That's strange. Anyway.
That's me.
Moving on from that was definitely a bathroom break match, in my opinion. And I know nobody's asking, but I'm telling, dude, I had so it was between Nia Jax and Bayley, and my prediction was that if anyone was to win, that Tiffy Time would come down and she would cash in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That was I feel like they've been building up to that on the weekly TV show, and sure enough, it got close. It got close.
We got a little something.
Teaser. We did, and it didn't happen. And
No, it didn't.
Nia Jax retains. I'll tell you, man. Is anybody rooting for either Bayley or Nia Jax in this match? Like, is anyone?
Just like I was actually talking to my wife about it, and she's just like, she goes, "How do you like know what's going to happen?" I was like, "Well, a lot of it is just it's basic and predictable, and it just you follow the story and you make the best guess."
Yep.
And I'm just like, I go, I mean, there's no point in Bayley winning. Like, there's just nothing that's gained.
Mm-mm.
So you keep it and give it to Nia, and she'll hold on to it for a minute. But I mean, Tiffany Stratton will probably be your next champ.
Well, and also from there, they're able to continue a storyline.
Yeah.
Between Nia, and she's able to stay in the mix and whatnot. Unfortunately, It's like, I always say this, what do you do with like somebody like Bayley? I don't know what you do with them, because there's especially in the women's division, it is so hard to stay relevant. I feel like because there's so many new women on their way up, and it's one of those things where men can age and they can look just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying women aging is a bad thing. I'm just saying in the world of cinema, you could even say soap operas. It doesn't tend to work out very well. So
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a break. From Bayley.
Yeah, I like that.
Just because, like, you let her heal, because she's been back for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Because they came back during the one WrestleMania, and they came back with like the damage control thing.
I think that was it WrestleMania or was it Survivor Series or Royal Rumble? It was something along
like
those.
that.
Yeah,
it was something like that. But anyway, so she's been at it,
a while.
She's been doing it for a minute, and so I think I wouldn't see any. She'll probably do house shows.
Mm-hmm.
But she probably won't be in the main story, and just do training and whatever that they do when they're downtime.
Which
because
isn't bad.
There is no place for her right now. There's just like I can sit there and wrap my brain, but I'm not seeing anything.
No, and she's also, it's crazy to think, man. She's like a 10-year vet, like when you think about it, like, these Charlotte Flairs, Becky Lynch, Bayley. I mean, these people, time flies, dude. And I'm starting to recognize like more and more some of these guys are just they've been around the game for a very long time.
Sure.
And she's one of those people. So I think redefining her character behind the scenes and taking a break, and what she did with damage control for a while was obviously, it was very
successful,
and the story was addicting enough to
Yeah.
make it main event at WrestleMania. So, she's reinvented herself 3 times. She could continue, and as somebody who's not a fan, I could care less. But at the same time, if somebody who's just looking at her going, "What do you do?" I think you're right. I think it makes a lot of sense.
You step down for a little bit.
And
I mean, it's nothing against you. It's like you did a good job, but just like
you've done everything
for you to go right now. Like,
yeah, you've done everything.
With, like, like you gonna feud with Damage Control some more? Like,
I sometimes wonder if there are certain wrestlers who are just like fucking mid card me because I want to be in the mix, because I want to work. Yeah. I've done like Sheamus. It's like, like Sheamus, what are you doing? Like there's nothing against Sheamus, but it's like he's just such
he's getting paid.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because at one point he was the guy, and now he's just kind of Sheamus, or even Rey Mysterio. I mean, Rey's a little different though, because Rey somehow knows how to get himself back in the mix consistently, and he's such a freaking star. I feel like that guy's he will be, if he continues, I mean, he will be the oldest wrestler to ever be on the WWE card as like a full timer.
Probably.
He's in such incredible shape.
He's like Jackie Chan, just not wanting to fucking stop.
Well, if you look at how he moves, and then you look at somebody like Dragon Lee, it's like there's really no difference. I mean, I don't see age in Rey, which is kind of, it's a whole nother topic for another day. But Nia Jax, man, she's doing the damn thing, like it or not.
Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, like I'm like, all right, whatever, man.
Give her
like,
her run.
It's fine. It's cool. Like, it's honestly not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I think
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's bad, but like I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, at least they've been able to make a very intriguing story out of it, which is nice. I mean, without Tiffany Stratton, this story sucks. You know, so
Tiffy time.
I'm for that, and I think she is incredible, and the future of the women's division, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, getting that out of the way. That was the bathroom break for me. I really didn't care too much. Moving on, we had Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, and
I love this match.
I loved it too. I think the finish was great. I was expecting, what to me it needed was a gimmick, and I hate saying that, but sometimes in PLEs I feel like, when we just get a singles match that doesn't have much of anything on the line other than...
What do you mean? It was the Dragon Ball Z Shining Zero.
Starring Zero or whatever. Shining Zero or whatever.
Hey, listen, don't talk shit about Dragon Ball. That's just fucking dope.
It's actually really funny. I never watched it as a kid, and my chat last night destroyed me because of it. They were calling me a fake millennial, so that was kind of cool. But I never watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, so I fake millennial. Anyway, dude. Okay, so I guess there was a gimmick, but none of them went. What is it?
Not impactful. Who gives a fuck? It was like, all right, we're watching a match here. Like
none of them.
It was a grudge match. So I mean,
imagine if like Finn Balor pulled out like Dragon Balls though, and like used them as a weapon or something. That would have been cool. It would have been cool. It would have been themed. I would have, or like, what is it? Was it a game? Is it a card game?
It's a video game.
Dude, what if he pulled out the video game and used it to hit him over the head? That would have been so much cooler, dude. I mean, they do it with Prime. Why not, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It would be great.
Right.
Such good promo. Dude, I should be their marketing team.
Totally. We'll work on it.
We will, dude. So, Damian Priest, the finish of this match was great because you knew the Judgment Day was going to do what they were going to do. I had Damian winning. Did you have Damian winning?
I had Damian winning.
Now, tell me, what are they calling it? The something from hell? The choke slam that he does.
The South of Heaven.
South of Heaven, that's what it is. Dude, the stomp that Finn Balor does, and then the second one that he caught him on as he was getting up, I was like, man, I don't know how, I don't know how that is prepared for. Because
Yeah, I don't know.
it looks like he puts his full weight, and Finn's a smaller guy, but I mean, I'm watching the
Still.
landing, and it looks like it fucking
And
hurts.
he's wearing Nikes.
I
Like,
know,
He's wearing,
dude, he's
wearing
dunks.
thick ass sole Air Force Ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, that can't feel nice.
No,
Unless they have it to where, like, as soon as he hits, like, he falls back or whatever.
See, that's
like,
what I kind
don't
of
know.
But if you watch it in slow motion, he like lands on them, and I thought the same thing. I had to slow it down and rewatch it because I was like, maybe he kicks off of them, and it just like
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's why I'm not a pro wrestler. But it looks like it hurts. It really does. And
for sure.
with the second one where Damien was getting up and he caught him, looked like it really, really hurt because it was a very awkward position. And then the third one, the South of Heaven, I just thought that finish was great. I thought it was a perfect kind of stamp on their feud. And like I said, I like gimmicks. Like that's just the way I am. I like things that are shiny and
I get it. I understand.
I will say that Damian Priest's Scott Hall pants with the red dripping blood for Bad Blood, was so sick.
His wrestling gear has been pretty good.
Yes.
I think Finn Balor, like, it's so simple. I love his in-ring gear.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish they wouldn't have gotten rid of the demon Finn Balor. I think that's what kind of made him pop on the main roster.
I hope it comes back, like, when they're done with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Well,
you would think that during Judgment Day, I mean, he only did it for that one WrestleMania, but you would have thought that it would be because it's so goth themed that they would have done more with it, and they didn't. So I don't know. Maybe Finn doesn't like doing that character. Maybe it was like an idea and he just fucking ran with it. Who knows?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, Finn as Finn, coming out with that mask over his head and whatnot.
I thought it was cool.
And the little paint around his eye.
Yeah.
Little Mike Tyson kind of, tattoo looking kind of thing. Looked good.
I liked it.
Yeah. And I do think that him in the Judgment Day is a great fit. I think Damien being in the Judgment Day was a great fit too. Carlito, on the other hand, what the fuck is going on there? I don't understand how that happened. But that kind of leads us to our next match, which is more about the Judgment Day and a lot of fuckery of what the fuck. We had Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. What was your prediction for this match? And not just that, but we had Dirty Dom in a Shark Tank, which I thought it was going to be above the ring, but they put it during in the walkway.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your thought on what was your prediction first and foremost?
My prediction was that Liv retained.
Okay.
So, like, she did. She retained.
She did.
Yeah, she lost.
She lost.
But she retained.
Yeah, so to sum up the match, man, the match was Dirty Dom, who's afraid of heights, came out with his new lowrider that they is very, very Eddie Guerrero themed.
Sure.
And
I think they're just saying they're just like completely just putting it out there now.
Oh,
this is Eddie's kid.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the whole thing, right? With the mullet and
my god, dude.
Oh, dude, but they literally, I think you can buy the car on WWE shop.
Yeah,
like the lowrider.
You can.
That was the whole promotion of it and whatnot. But he came out with that, and then it switches to Liv Morgan's music, and then Rhea comes out, she does her thing, and then they put Dom in this Shark Tank, and they put him up, above the entrance, and he's like afraid of heights, so instead of standing in the cage like China did in years past or Paul Bear, he was literally like sitting down in it. And somehow midway through the match, he gets the door open. And so I'm like, dude, is he going to I'm thinking to myself, he's going to try to jump out of this thing. But he's like 2.5 flights high in the air.
Oh, yeah. He was up there.
And I'm like, dude, how the fuck is this guy going to get down? And you know what? The WWE is so good at getting me, man. They're so good. There's a moment where he looks like he's going to try to exit the cage. and he does, but he ends up falling out of the cage, and for a split second, my mind goes straight to Owen Hart, dude. Like he was on his head. He exited this thing like he was falling out of it and wasn't secured. And little do we know, his foot is chained to the cage. So he was dangling above, which I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how long somebody can physically be hung upside down. I would assume not super long, because wouldn't the blood rush to your head and eventually make you pass out? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never, but yeah, to me, it just seemed that was the thought that ran through my head. And then, you know, basically the match from there was just full fuckery. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Rhea's focus was on Dominic. She came over with the kendo stick, started beating the living shit out of him. And then the best part of the match, which I didn't find the best part, I found it actually very fucking stupid, is Raquel Rodriguez, the masked woman or whatever you want to call her, comes over and basically interferes in the match. But then what's so fucking weird about all of it is that it was almost like she didn't know what was going on, because she had Liv pin Rhea. But then the announcers were able to spin it like, oh, this is metaphorical kind of a thing, you know? And then she like picked her up after a minute where she noticed like the ref wasn't coming over to pin to do the count. She like grabbed Liv and, you know, had Liv stand and rose her hand and shit. But I was like, great. So we get Raquel Rodriguez as a part of the Judgment Day. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing, man? I don't know. I'm
know
not.
if she's part of the Judgment Day.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
So,
from what I'm understanding, at least.
And when my wife was watching with me, which is great. And I was like, this woman, she's physically gifted. She's a great in-ring competitor. She's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
But she's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
She is so unappealing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's like I just can't, like it'll sound bad any way that I try to convey this, but it's just like, I'm good. You can try to paint shit gold. It's still shit, dude.
Yep, exactly. And unfortunately, being a wrestler and being good in the ring is only one part of many to what we want to see. It's, you know, listen, I am, you know, a big part of what I enjoy is the cosmetics. I fucking hate what she wore last night.
It was, I'm like, that is really weird.
Yeah, it does not look good on your body. I'm sorry. You know, there's things.
She's got like nothing wrong with how she looks.
No.
She has a very different body type.
Exactly. And you know what? There are clothes for that body type. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with that.
And I mean, do you, boo-boo, I guess, at the end of the day. But I'm not going to sit here and like pry on how women should appear.
No, but I do the same with the men, dude. Nipple slips and all.
Dude,
you know that.
I know you've been consistent with it.
Yeah, I have. It's a big part of the way I feel when I watch pro wrestling. I want my wrestlers to look like wrestlers, and female or male. It does not matter. You know, I feel like the female wrestlers should look a lot like China did. Look, you know, or a Rhea Ripley, where it's buff as shit, and you know, what's the one? Who's the chick who's TNA champion?
Jordan Grace.
Exactly.
Jordan Grace.
Does that chick look like a pro wrestler or not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
She looks like she's straight from American Gladiator.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I want more of that and less of, you know, people love the Liv Morgans of the world, and that's fine. We've always had like the blonde, you know, the blonde bombshell in WWE, but I prefer my wrestlers to look like wrestlers. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like Raquel Rodriguez is very, I mean, she's good. She's in ring talent good, but on the mic, she's terrible. And then, you know, I don't know, man. She hasn't chosen like a gimmick that seems very intriguing. She's just kind of there.
It's been very basic. It's like
it's
you're
very there.
Heel.
Yeah. She was carried by Liv, 100% carried, and it worked. It worked. You know, we were happy for them when they were champions, and then when Liv left, the WWE was like, "Yeah, Raquel, you get back to the back of the line." They're like, "Hey, Liv's hurt. Yeah, you're dropping that title. You're not." But then when what was her name? Oh my God, not Tiffany, the other one, Green.
Oh, Chelsea Green.
When Chelsea Green lost her tag team partner, what happened? Do you remember? They gave it to the Scottish chick. The Scottish chick came in and she's like, "I'm taking the title." Remember?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude.
Yeah, that's how much the WWE, in my eyes,
I'm going to have the title now.
Yeah, dude. But that's how much, in my eyes, the WWE didn't believe in Raquel. Like, they didn't believe that she could just sell the tag team as her as the front runner, you know? So
Sure.
the fact that she's back, the fact that she's part of a Judgment Day will give her some appeal. But, like, at the same time, the Judgment Day at this point consists of fucking Carlito. You know what I'm saying? And, dude, we're all stoked that Carlito's back. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, Carlito's awesome. Carlito has not gotten... I have not seen him spit an apple at somebody in months now, and I'm kind of pissed about it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I want Carlito to be Carlito. Judgment Day...
Bring back his OG.
Dude, yes.
Spit into the face of people
that's,
who don't want to be cool.
That was the coolest part about him coming back in Puerto Rico, was that with the LWO, he was doing that kind of shit, you know? And so him apart as the Judgment Day, I just don't understand. They would have been so much better if they would have had R-Truth, bro. R-Truth would have, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, that sums up that match. Rhea wins, you know, due to disqualification. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that this is not the end, that it's only going to get worse. And
yeah. All right. Well,
you know, they're going to feud it out through probably what we have Crown Jewel and Survivor Series coming up. Speaking of which, we didn't talk about this, nor do we have this down in our notes. And I guess we're going to talk about it. Triple H comes out. Has a moment, and this is actually a big moment, and I would have felt like a fucking idiot if we didn't bring this up.
Yeah, I get it.
Triple H comes out. There's a title on a stand, and it says Crown Jewel. The stand says Crown Jewel. The belt is completely covered. There's been talks of a women's mid-card title, I've heard, which is I was kind of shocked about. And I forget what the talks were for. There was another title that they were talking about as well.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm thinking to myself, what could they be doing with another title? And then he reveals the title only to tell us that at Crown Jewel, it will be champion versus champion. The winner of that match will then become the Crown Jewel champion. So, first off, Kyle, what are your thoughts on the premise of this new championship before we get into cosmetics?
I think that this was a basically someone from Saudi Arabia took a giant vault of money, dropped it off at Triple H's house, and said, "This is what we want associated with our pay-per-view."
Yes.
This just screams Saudi Arabia, fuck you money.
Yeah, it does.
And we are bending to their will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I'm getting from it. And
150%, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I mean, if you look at the title, there's not a single area where there isn't a gym. The entire thing is full of gyms. Now, here's my question. Outside of the premise, you know, it's champion versus champion. Outside of the way the belt looks, because I want to hear that next. I think this is the most important question. Will they wear it for one night, or will they wear it for the full year?
Oh my God. I mean, I guess it depends on how much money that they gave them.
I mean, because in prior years we had Braun Strowman, who won a Crown Jewel, the greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a one-time Royal Rumble, and he won a belt, and it was a Saudi Arabia, the greatest Royal Rumble belt, and it was seen one time, and that was it. This This, on the other hand, this belt is bigger than AEW's belt. Okay. I'm just going to go out and say it. I can barely read what's written on it.
Yeah.
There's
It looks ugly as fuck.
Yeah, there's too much going on, in my opinion.
It's fucking ugly.
So
design.
is it going? Yeah, there was no talk of would you wear it through your entire like championship run. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be war that night, and
that's about it.
That's probably about it. Maybe for the next PLE or something. But it would be interesting if they made it a staple. If they did, you'd have like the Roman Reigns look where you'd have that belt around you as well as the other one. The bummer is if you lose if you lose the WWE title, or if you lose the World Heavyweight title, you can't just carry the fucking, the crown jewel champion around. That would be weird.
You can't. Yeah, that would be weird.
So, and then obviously it doesn't transfer to the next guy, right? It only it's between.
It's so weird, and
it's like a trophy. It's like winning a trophy, but like you're creating a belt that's a one night deal. Like I'm
over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Like I literally forgot that it happened because
me
I cared
too.
about it that much.
Well, I actually did care about it. I'll tell you why. Because 10 seconds later, you had Gunther coming out, and Gunther came out, and I got a little excited because Gunther went back on a statement that he had said months ago about Bill Goldberg being one of his heroes, and Bill Goldberg was in the audience. And the craziest thing about this is that Bill has had, from my understanding, no relationship, no conversation up until this moment with the WWE. He has said multiple times how he got fucked over, that Vince owed him a final match because what he did for Roman, and he was never given that final match. And out comes Bill Goldberg, after Gunther. And it looks like we are down the line, but could potentially, like, those bygones are bygones, and it looks like Bill could be returning. Obviously, it was to get him, it's his home, I guess, his hometown area.
Yeah, he's
in
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, so it's a big deal to just have him there. But then what he did was he crossed those lines, right? Where it's like, okay, now obviously he's outside the ring, and they allowed him in the ring. And he was able to kind of pose with Triple H and whatnot. So, dude, I mean, that to me was a big statement because...
Yeah, I agree. That was like one of the first things that I thought of was you talking about this before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's interesting.
It's very, very different, which means... And I've noticed this a lot. Like, I heard the same thing with the Steiner brothers, and then you saw Scott there, and it's like, dude, you see DDP there. You see a lot of the older talent behind
Anderson.
Oh yeah, they're all behind the Triple H regime, which is fucking awesome because all it says is that they're giving their kind of approval of what's going on. We didn't see them for years. I mean, Scott, I can't remember the last time I saw Scott Steiner. I think probably when he was Big Papa Pump in the early 2000s. And then that was it. Like, he never showed up to any of these things. And now,
no, because he was doing TNA stuff though.
Yeah. I mean, he was always against the the grit.
Bad booty daddy.
Yeah, dude, that was very strange times. It was like this.
My favorite video that I have bookmarked to this day is a video of just like the best Steiner moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he did Steiner math.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh my God, I will send it to you and you need to watch it because it's a fucking fantastic like montage of just Steiner moments that are amazing.
Definitely. I'll have to watch it, man, because
I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
He was such a great character, man. Such a great character.
God, he was so good.
But yeah, so Bill Goldberg possibly returning, and then it's interesting because his son plays football right now, but from my understanding, he's like riding the bench a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if his son ever decides to make an impact because he looks just like his dad. It's kind of crazy. So I'm excited about that. That made me kind of pumped to see one more match. I could get behind one more match for Bill Goldberg. I don't know why I keep calling him Bill instead of Goldberg, but he's become Bill Goldberg and Les Goldberg, you know. And to be honest, man, his last run as Goldberg didn't really feel like Goldberg. It felt like something we none of us wanted to see. So one more match, I'm down. You know, hopefully it's against the right opponent, somebody who can carry him, not like the Undertaker. The Undertaker would be a bad fit. We've seen that match. And I think that led up to our final match. I think that there was some promo stuff done. They keep showing this promo of a car, and then like a city, and then it keeps saying coming soon. Did you see that?
No, I missed that one.
Okay, because they've been showing it on Raw and SmackDown as well. It's like a car, a guy walking, the city, and then it just says coming soon, and nobody knows what it is.
Yeah,
so
I guess we'll find out.
I guess it's coming soon, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna come.
Whoa, dude.
It's I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. That was great timing there, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So let's get into our main event.
We're not gonna talk about that.
That was so good.
We needed that.
Yes, we did. Our main event was, before we even get into the main event, the entrances were atrocious. I don't know if you caught on to what I caught on to, but the
well, you tell me, and I'll
okay. Well, so you know, Cody Rhodes has a band. It's like the local city high school or college band come out, and they're playing his theme song. I'm like, okay, I see this. I know where this is going. That's cool, I guess. And his song goes to start, and it's like, wrestling has more than one, what is it, royal family or something like that. And then it literally repeated itself, and it was like, wrestling has more than one royal family. And then you just hear the band, and the band's like in a completely different key, totally not in the same part of the song. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. You hear them, like, you can hear the sound engineer slowly like muting them because it's so bad. It was so off with what was currently going on. And whoever fucked up the production in the back, where I don't know if it was like they were trying to get the fucking statement across that there's more than one royal family, but it was, you know, the idea that it was done twice, and the band was completely off key and completely at different parts of the song.
These poor high school kids.
Well, you would think, like, okay, so how much worse could it get, right? So Cody comes out, he does his thing, and you see them as he's walking up, and they're just dancing. They're literally just dancing. They're not playing their instruments at all because they've been told to stop. Dude, it's so the people, it's crazy because the band members along the sides of the ring are they're dancing, man. They're all into it. And then right where the front is, where he's got to walk past, they're just standing frozen, dude. You got to watch it. It's so good.
I'll have to go back and watch it now.
It's so worth it. But then it gets even worse. I'm like, how? I'm like, dude, okay, that was cringe. Let's move on. So then you hear Roman's song, and there's a clip online, dude, of them showing this other orchestra band, and the lady who is playing she's playing some massive like bass drum with these they're not even sticks, they're like, I don't even know what you call them, kind of a thing, but she's playing this massive drum, and it's not even the same song, dude. She's playing a completely different fucking tempo, and she literally looks over at the camera and was like, I don't know, and just keeps going, dude. And then literally, sure enough, the same fucking thing happened. I don't know if it was like they were, if it was last second, or if they were given like a completely different key, or what. And so you're looking at the violinists, and they're literally just waiting to play. They never even played. It was so fucking awkward, dude. And as a musician, I noticed that stuff. Like, I wondered how many people.
That went way over my head.
Yeah, I immediately noticed it, and I was like, I mean, it was just the best part. It was all over Twitter. Was the lady who was literally playing this drum with, I don't even know what you call them. They're like sticks, but they got the balls on the end.
Mallet.
Mallet. Okay, yeah, mallets.
There you go.
And she's just kind of like looking at the camera, like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And it's like this old lady who's like 50 or 60 years old, dude.
Oh
It was so good. It was so good. At that point, I was like,
YOLO.
yeah, I was like, oh, they lost it. Like, they don't know. They have no idea what's going on right now. And all I could think of was that whoever fucking assigned them to do this, somebody lost their job like 110% because it was a nightmare. And Roman did his normal walk to the ring, and obviously the WWE song handled it, which was good. In that regard, they were able to mute everyone, and so you could only see it, you couldn't hear it, thank God. But at the beginning you could, and that was the funniest part of it all. So if you get a chance, go back and watch it. It was a disaster for both Cody and for Roman.
Nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then the match, man. We'll get into the match. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline, Solo and Jacob Fatu. Now here's something to ask. Is Jimmy and Jay and Solo, are their last name Fatu?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking about it because I know Solo goes by Solo Sikoa, but it's interesting how Jacob Fatu and Zilla Fatu just had stuck with their names and no pressure, right? Like, I mean, I guess they've been in the scene long enough to where nobody was going to change Jacob Fatu's fucking name.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. The Usos go by Uso, just
right.
I don't know. Anyway, it was just kind of one of those things where I just kind of had a very moment in the clouds where it was like, hey, that's kind of funny. He's a Fatu, and they go by different names. So
yeah.
But yeah, so you had the new Bloodline versus the original Tribal Chief and Cody Rhodes. The entire story leading up to this is that, Roman can't do it alone. Roman needs Cody. Cody needs Roman. They both have like a reason, vendetta, towards the Bloodline. They've got to make it happen, right? But for different reasons. And you get there, and the match starts. There's some talking. They got to, they didn't have any time to plan this out because obviously neither of them were backstage, and they just kind of showed up there at the same time.
Right.
And so, Cody and Roman have a little talking out. They decide Cody goes first. They decide Jacob goes first, and the match gets started. And I'll be 1,000% honest: when you got that much talent in the ring, I mean, my eyes were drawn to the screen. They couldn't do anything wrong. It was great.
No, it was a great match.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Highlight of the match to me was Cody Rhodes going to the top rope and flying to it was just a splash. It wasn't even like a frog splash or anything. To the announcer's table, which is out of like Logan Paul's playbook.
That was crazy. That was the moment that stood out for me.
Yeah. It was pretty incredible to see that he wasn't even like, normally I feel like they don't stand both their feet on the ring post like that, but he did, and I was like, dude, I hope he lands it. And he had more than enough room, which was good.
Oh yeah, he almost went over him.
Yeah, it was crazy how big of a splash that was, but it was the moment that match needed. And then I had heard 3 rumors earlier on. I was doing some digging on Twitter, and I had heard Jimmy was at the building, heard The Rock was in the building. They were just waiting on confirmation, and that Brock Lesnar was going to be there. And I just couldn't understand why Brock would be there. Like, maybe I was missing something, but
maybe.
Brock never showed up. And so, sure enough, the rest of the Bloodline did show up, and the current Bloodline at least. And then we had a masked man just kind of standing there for a minute while they were on the outside. And finally, they got the attention of the new Bloodline, or this person got the attention of the new Bloodline, and it was revealed to be Jimmy Uso, which looks great, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looks great.
Yeah.
He looks so good. I was like, I knew that was I was like, this is where it's gonna start ramping up with the Civil War.
Yes.
I'm like, we're gonna start seeing some things happen. I was like, we're gonna see Jimmy.
Thank God, dude.
Yeah.
And before we go any further with this match, I think it's important to talk about how we have a new Intercontinental Champion in Jey Uso since the last time we did a pod. And they updated the title. It's got blue worlds on it now instead of the worlds being gold. Looks amazing in my opinion. And I don't know what that means for after this match moving forward. Obviously, Jay's doing his own thing, but it also feels like the right time. Like everything feels like the right time to be there to get the bloodline back together. It's great to see Jimmy in shape and excited, and I feel like after WrestleMania he needed a break. It felt like it was the right time, to have Solo kind of abandon him and restart the bloodline.
Sure.
I feel like was the right move. I was really worried for Jimmy moving forward, but after seeing Jimmy and him coming back to Roman's aid and Roman accepting him, embracing him, man, dude, I got a little choked up. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
all of these guys are family, and it's just so cool, man. The road that we've been on for so long now with the bloodline, and to see them all evolve as like massive stars. I mean, there was a point where the Usos were like, they were a top-notch tag team from the get-go, but they weren't anything really noteworthy. And now you got one brother who's the Intercontinental Championship running Raw, and the other brother getting a massive ovation for finally not being a heel. I didn't like Jimmy as a heel. I like him.
Right.
Jimmy is potentially funnier than Sami Zayn. I mean, he is fucking hilarious. And so it will be really good to see where things go. My question out of all of this is how do you get the Wise Man back? Because you gotta have the Wise Man. And from my understanding, yeah, let's hear it.
Go ahead.
No. Yeah.
I think that it's going to be. I think Paul Heyman will be the last piece of the puzzle.
I hope so.
I think we're gonna get. We got Jimmy. Jay will end up getting incorporated in some way, shape, or form. Then it's going to be Sami Zayn, who I think is going to be the fourth person.
That would be incredible, dude.
And then Paul Heyman, showing up last. I think that would be great.
It would. It would be absolutely incredible. I really hope you're right. And if you're not right, the only piece that I could see being flexible enough to not be in it is Sami Zayn. I could see them pulling in Zilla and really making it all about the family. Zilla is the one piece that is active. He's a champion right now, I believe, down in what's the Booker T's professional wrestling league?
NXT?
No, below that. It's like I forget what it's called, but it's Booker T's league. He has his own wrestling league, and he's the championship down there. So, I do think Sammy would make the most pop and make the most sense. So I'm either way, man. I'm excited, and Survivor Series is right around the corner. That's what makes the most sense. And if we're seeing it, I guarantee you, Triple H has seen it. He understands, because there's things for a long time here that I have not been able to grasp my just thought process around. And one of them being, walking out of this match, you still have Cody Rhodes. It's like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, they win this match, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of Jimmy, and Roman gets, the 1, 2, 3. They look at Cody, and, they kind of right then and there, they're all standing in the ring and whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, like Cody Roman 3 has to happen in my opinion. But then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, The Rock's music just plays, and it's almost like an eyesore at this point. Like,
I fucking agree.
dude, it's so interesting because somebody who was so legendary and so good, and he was good at WrestleMania. It's not like he was bad. He walks out with the cringiest title of all time, the People's Championship, and I'm like, dude, he's still carrying that thing. Like, I thought, okay, well, give him the day after WrestleMania, let him show it off and whatnot. He shows up 6 months later with this fucking Brahma Bull People's Championship that Ollie's wife gave him, right? And who likes that? Give me your thoughts on The Rock and just the ending of the match.
I shout out to my wife again. She shared my sentiments like perfectly. That I'm just so tired of seeing The Rock. Like, he is annoying. And when his music hit, I went, like, I was physically upset that he was coming out and ruining the cool moment and then going like this.
Yeah.
Like, for goosebumps or whatever.
That's his new thing,
and it's
dude.
like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, no, like, stop being a stealer of light.
Yeah. It's weird. I feel like we can see through The Rock now versus there was a time where he was relevant and what he said mattered, and now it just kind of everything feels like a little like forced. I don't know. Either way, man, it was a fun ending to the show. It was full of surprises, which was nice. I prefer events that are full of surprises. So I got what I wanted, and then the show went off the air, and hopefully you saw what I saw, which was The Rock, and then cut a 5-minute promo basically saying how he's excited to be back. He's going to drink some tequila, and then he drove off in his truck. Basically, there was that. And then about 15 minutes later, it was all over Twitter. Cody Rhodes was in the parking lot, and he ran into Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens had some words with him, and then Kevin Owens jumped him. And
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. And so Kevin Owens turned heel off camera. Just in I guess just the thought process was that people would get it on film and post it on the internet, and he threw like a trash can at Cody. He hurt Cody. WWE security, it was right next to Cody's trailer. WWE security got in between them. KO gets in his Lamborghini and drives off, and that was it. And so, it was about time. Was it ridiculous timing? Yeah, because if you're not tuned into social media, well, you're probably not watching this podcast at that point. But if you're not tuned into social media, you didn't see that. So
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting moment, especially to, not have cameras on it. I'm sure they had cameras for Monday or for Thursday.
Oh, sure.
I mean, for Friday. Sure. But yeah, to not have it a part of the event was very interesting. I don't know. Maybe they just ran out of time. Who knows? But yeah, it was full of, like I said, full of little cameos and excitement. I'd say it's one of the better PLEs that we've had. We're also getting closer to WrestleMania season. I mean, it's kind of insane. I looked at the schedule. They showed the schedule on TV, and they did this last year. January 1st is considered day one, so the entire month of January we don't get a PLE at all. We get we got I believe it's Survivor Series, we have Crown Jewel, we have In Your House, and then we got Royal Rumble, and that's it. And then the month of January we get nothing, and then it's like the lead up to WrestleMania pretty much. But things are starting to boil, man. It's starting to it feels like chapter 2 of a book that we read last year. I'm okay with it though, and I'm really I'm walking out of this hoping whatever happens with The Rock, it's not the main event at WrestleMania. I really would love to see Roman and Cody 3. just because I think it's the match that everybody wants. And so as of right now in October, man, that's what I'm crossing my fingers for. I'm also crossing my fingers for Bloodline Civil War. We've been talking about this forever, man. We've talked about it for at least 2 years now. We got Bloodline Tribal Combat, but we never got Civil War. It's time.
Yeah.
It's the right place for it. Make it happen, WWE. You know. So, anything else, Kyle?
I had a thought, and then I'm trying to pull it together. No, it's gone. I've lost the thought. It's fine.
And you know what?
I got nothing else.
And you know what? We'll have more thoughts on the next podcast. With that being said, man, this wraps up another episode of the Lower Midcard Podcast. We'll see you next time.